Comes to Talk. Thanks for joining, and we've got a lot to cover today. There's a lot going on with these unelected judges that are making all these insane moves against the president and everything he's doing. So, one in particular who's been totally busted by Trump. So, I'm going to lead with that, and we got a lot more to cover too. I mean, this is just an insane time because what the Democrats have, and I'm going to detail this. I found an incredible article. I got to cue it up of the Democrats' plan that they're operating on. You think they're going planless, that they're just free range in here, and that's not the case. And I'm going to get to that. I'm going to go through that as well. But a lot is happening. Welcome, one and all. Yes, thank you so much. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe, all right? Subscribe and like the video. And, of course, if you can, share on all your socials. I'm still setting up here, so just bear with me. And I'll pin the number to call in live. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. But yeah, today is a crazy busy news day, no doubt about it. And the liberals, of course, are just out of their freaking mind. Roy, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. I just pinned the call-in number there. If you'd like to call in, you can do that. We'll be taking calls in a bit. We'll be on the air live in 7 minutes. And I will start the other feed in a moment. Now remember, if you're watching on this live stream with the green background, you'll be able to see and hear me and the callers, but the audio sound bites you have to listen to on my other live stream, which I'll start in a few minutes. Let's see here. Okie dokie. I'm all set up. We are good to go. And we'll be live. Actually, let me get the exact time because they texted me from the radio station the exact time. Okay, we'll be live in a little like 5.5 minutes. We'll be live on the radio. So in a couple minutes, I'll start the other stream. But I'm going to start with some things that Trump had to say about the judges and go through the Democrat playbook, which has been uncovered of what they're doing. Yes, thank you very much, Roy. I appreciate that. If everyone could thank Roy, that's awesome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'll be live on the radio in less than 5 minutes. Oh, what a weekend. What a weekend. The news just won't stop. And of course, 6 days until our cruise sets sail. 7 days from today, I'll be somewhere out in the ocean. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere. And I will stay in touch when I'm on the cruise next week, guys. Don't worry. I'll be doing some live streams while I'm at sea, and you guys can catch me. And then I'm going to, when I get back, there'll be a video of the entire cruise that I'll put, our MAGA cruise. But I will live stream from the cruise ship next week. So make sure you got the notifications clicked and everything. We have Starlink internet on the ship, the Elon Musk internet. It's pretty good. We had it on the last couple of cruises. It's amazing how fast it is. The old internet that they had, mobile, was not that good. You feel terrible. You should feel good. Trump's president. What could be better? You know, Pete Hegseth ran a poll. I think he did it on his X. That is really interesting. He said, a poll, should it be called the Department of Defense or the Department of War? Remember, it used to be the War Department and the Secretary of War, and the majority was Department of War. Well, thank you, Lisa. I'm glad you liked the video. Defense just justifies too much of what they're doing. And when's the last time they actually did something that wasn't offensive? I know after 9/11 we responded, but between World War II and then, and since then and after, not much. Fox News on Sundays is hardcore never-Trumpers over there. You know who's a real jerk is that media monitor guy they have. Howie, is it Howie Kurtz? Is that his name? What? He's a Trump hater? They had police protecting the Tesla dealership. If you saw the one officer that talked to me, he was protecting one of the entrances of the dealership. I know they're pretty bizarre people. Okay. Oops, my headphones dropped. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to start the other stream now. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and there's so much to cover today. Welcome, one and all. We are 20 seconds away from being live on the radio. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned to the top of the live chat. All right, we're coming up on the 10-second mark, so stand by. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Monday, March 24th, 2025. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 78 years on the radio. And holy smokes, do we have a lot to cover today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so these unelected judges who are trying to become robed presidents of the United States are really and truly being exposed for who they are, and what they are doing by President Trump, Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, and many others. And I want to cover some of that early in the show here. There's a lot of news that's happened since Friday, so I have a lot of things to cover, but I want to start with this because President Trump has taken to social media to call out these judges. And what has been revealed over the weekend is a very well organized Democrat plan of insurrection against the federal government. And that plan is a three-pronged plan. I'm going to go through it in a little bit and break it down. And as I go through it, you'll say, wow, that is exactly what's going on. You know, it looks like there's just a bunch of randomness happening by disorganized lunatic liberals. And the Democrats, the liberals, certainly are lunatics, but the people that run their movement are very well organized, and everything that is happening by the design and the plan of the Democrats, of the left. So, and if, you know, they've been obsessed with insurrection. Interrupting government business is an insurrection. They've been telling us this for years, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're interrupting the government business of the President of the United States and various agencies under the President of the United States, which includes the Defense Department, our Homeland Security, and many others. This is textbook insurrectionism that the Democrats are involved in right now. And they have officials doing it, not just Jasmine Crockett, but unelected judges and many activists. So President Trump took to Truth Social over the weekend, and he posted an article about the judge that's stopping the deportation of all of these gang members, who are, without question, an illegal invading army in our country that have taken part in death, destruction, and rape. And who knows what all else they've been doing. But they're a very violent, foreign, criminal invader. They are not domestic terrorists. They are terrorists, international terrorists, who have cells operating all over the United States. I'm talking about this Tren de Aquafina, whatever they call themselves. And we've got this weirdo judge who's trying to keep these rapists and murderers inside of our country. A photograph just emerged of him with Doug Emhoff. Doug Emhoff, of course, is Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris's husband. He was the second gentleman for 4 years. But President Trump, he posted an article about the judge that's trying to stop the deportations of the Tren de Aquafina gang, and he wrote this: judge whose daughter made millions of dollars representing Biden and Harris against me, while her father presided over a fake case against me and refused to recuse himself. He should be distanced. He should be disbarred. Crooked Alvin Bragg was the DA in the case. They put me under gag order so that I could not talk about it. Miscarriage of justice. Now he's talking about Judge Merchan. And then he posted to that comment about Judge Merchan in New York an article about the judge who's trying to stop the deportations. And this is a very interesting article. Here's the headline. It's in Just the News, justthenews.com, very good news website. You can read this yourself, and I did post this on X. Here's the headline. Judge who blocked Trump deportations took junket to event with anti-Trump speakers. So right out the door, or the window, whatever you want it to go out of, goes any illusion that this unelected man in a robe, who knows if he's even got anything on underneath the robe, I don't want to know, oh my goodness. But being nonpartisan, that's history now. Listen to this. This is in just the news. Months before he blocked President Donald Trump's deportation of illegal alien gang members, U.S. District Court Judge James Boseberg attended a privately funded legal conference in Idaho that featured sponsors and speakers who have expressed clear anti-Trump sentiments, particularly on immigration, and a theme that echoed the Democrat Party's 24 stated mission of saving democracy. Now, this is according to judicial ethics reports, so this is out there. Judge Boseberg was one of the 9 Democrat-appointed judges and 3 Trump-nominated jurors to attend the conference in Sun Valley, where 2 of the 4 sessions were entitled Role of Judges in a Democracy and the State of Democracy. Now, you got to watch it. Whenever people in the government are using democracy, freedom, liberty, they're doing just the opposite, right? Called a privately funded seminar disclosure report, the document it's early on Monday, guys, discloses that Judge Boseberg was in attendance, but offers no details of whether he was paid for his attendance or travel, or if he paid his own way. What do you guys think? You think he paid his own way? What do you think? Overseen by the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts, the ethical rules governing federal judges requires that a private entity who issues an invitation to a federal judge to attend an educational program as speaker, panelist, or attendee and offers to pay for or reimburse that judge in excess of $480 must disclose financial information. The rules don't require a specific accounting for each judge or even how much was paid to judges at all. Okay, so we are owed some explanations. Just the News was alerted to the conference and to Judge Boseberg's attendance by a retired Democrat-appointed judge who was concerned the July 2024 conference's focus on judges' role in a democracy was too close to a political party's theme for comfort. So there's some Democrat judge out there who's got some ethics. It is possible that his payment was merely reimbursement for expenses, but Judge Boseberg did not respond to a request for comment from Just the News. What do you think? The conference was part of the Rodell Institute's Judicial Fellowship, and each of the judges in attendance, including Judge Boseberg, was a first-year fellow, according to the Institute's website. Rodell, in turn, is funded by the same foundations who often sponsor anti-Trump programs and publications, including the Henry Luce Foundation, which funds groups such as the Migration Policy Institute, which recently claimed the Trump administration bends U.S. government in extraordinary ways towards aims of mass deportation. The Rockefeller Brothers Fund, which has over the years donated considerable cash to the Brennan Center for Justice, which opposes Trump's policies and has him tied up in litigation all over the place. The Hewlett Foundation, which was a longtime supporter of the group when it was still part of the Aspen Institute, which proclaimed its less than flattering view of President Trump. Rodell is the organization that invited the judge where he went, okay? Some of Rodell's leadership team, institutional partners, funding sources, and faculty partners are left-leaning or anti-Trump. Its annual book award is named for former Congressman Mickey Edwards, a former Republican who is a harsh Trump critic and endorsed Joe Biden in 2020 and Kamala Harris in 2024. Rodell's chief executive officer, John Kroger, has voiced clear criticism of Trump in recent weeks on his LinkedIn page, claiming Trump's administration has intentionally taken a very large number of actions that violate statute and clear constitutional precedent. This goes on. This is a very long article. I could read it, go through this for the whole hour, but it is this judge went to this retreat, this event, this forum with all of these workshops about judges' role in a democracy, and it's about 99.9% Trump hate. Okay? So is this judge really a judge? Or is he a Democrat activist who has violated his oath that he took when he became a federal judge and is just making laws up to be a disruptor. I think it's obvious. And luckily, the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, is not messing around here. What this judge is doing, though, he's not rogue. He's not on his own. He's part of a very organized effort, which I'm going to get to in just a bit. If you're new to the program, welcome. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. If you'd like to call in, please do. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Now, what I'm sharing with you, the Democrats don't want you to know about this, but the Republican establishment don't either. Have you seen any of this on television? Have you seen any of what I've shared so far in the mainstream media? Now, they're doing a lot of coverage of this judge. Oh, Trump defies the judge. Trump challenges the judge. But have they put in context what Judge Boseberg is all about? He's a hardcore liberal hack who's not a leader, not rogue, but part of a plot of insurrection against the United States government led by President Trump. We're going to take our first break of the week. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll take that break and be right back. Oh, man. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, in a word, how would you describe this event and this judge in just a word? I mean, the very fact that if he did nothing else but attend that event, he should recuse himself. If that's all he did, but he's done more, right? I mean, this guy is as corrupt as the day is long. Absolutely exposed. No doubt about it. Now, if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It is toll-free, no matter where you are tuned in from, all right? And, you know, all the calls are 100% cold calls on the air, 100% unvetted. When you call in, I just put you on hold. And when I take you on the air, I say, hello, what's your name? Where are you calling from? That's it. That's the first time you hear anyone's voice when you call this program. No one answers the phone. So 100% unvetted, screenless calls on the air. And we do that for a number of reasons. It makes the show, I think, more interesting. Keeps me on my toes. Well, 15 boxes, you're welcome to butch up, man up, and call me on the air about that. We'll talk. You know, any of the liberals, the Democrats, the trolls in the chat room, don't be keyboard warriors. You can call me. It's toll-free. And call me out on the carpet on anything if you have the guts. If I'm so wrong and you're so right, it should be an easy slam dunk for you to expose me. If you're on hold, hang in there. He has not been listening to this Judge Boseberg. The deportations are continuing. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. And click that notification bell, guys. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Yeah, the news is just great. Nothing but good news. Nope, wait. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot. President Trump posted an article that busts and exposes the most corrupted judge in America today, Judge Boseberg. He's the judge ordering all of the stoppage of the deportations of these rapist, criminal, murdering gang members. And that's what I've been covering. Now, 6 days from today, this Sunday, our cruise, our great MAGA cruise with myself and Steve Kane leaves out of Fort Lauderdale's Port Everglades. Those of you that are going on the cruise, if you've not checked in already, please do. Okay, and you can call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. He'll help do that for you. And there's two reasons to do it. And I just learned about this a week ago. I knew that it speeds up your process when you get to the port, but that's just a benefit. If there's any typo errors on your reservation, they'll be taken care of now. As what I mean by that is, if there's one number off on your passport number, or a slight misspelling or inaccuracy with your name on your passport and your reservation, you may not be able to board. So if you check in early, that problem is taken care of beforehand. So make sure you guys do that. All right, let's, and Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot will walk you through it. I'm not giving out the number. The cruise is sold out. But so those of you that are booked, you have Ian's number. Give him a call and take care of that, please, today, early as you can. It's very important. Well, let's before I go into any more on these corrupt judges and the very well organized Democrat plot against the president, let's take a call or two. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Brian from Oklahoma. I was just calling to thank you, Trump, for everything you do, and wonder why more Americans ain't fighting for the Republic.
Well, I think people are. We won. I mean, you know, we don't have to fight. We won. So, you know what I mean? What we've been doing the last 4 years during the Biden-Kamala era, that was the struggle. Now we've won. So, you know, our people are now running the country. All right, appreciate the call. Yeah, go ahead.
These judges, we've got to do something about these judges.
Well, Pam, the way they are being handled. First of all, this judge I'm talking about now, who's friends with Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband, there's a photograph of them together. This left-wing anti-Trump pro-illegal alien conference he went to, Trump is ignoring him and has been continuing the deportations. In fact, Venezuela even told the Trump administration over the weekend they're going to continue to take in their illegals, okay? And Trump's still been shipping them to the prison in El Salvador, so he has not been listening to this judge. Pam Bondi over the weekend was on Fox News, and she's looking into this judge for criminal activity. The House of Representatives are beginning impeachment proceedings against him. So a lot is being done, and it's being done properly through the government since we are running the government. So that's
doing it right.
That's right. All right, appreciate the call. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean that's the way you want to do it. Now on Friday, I was telling you guys that this, and I saw some people started picking up on this yesterday, but I had this on Friday. That Supreme Court Chief Justice appointed by George W. Bush, John Roberts, who's always been a traitor, he has this elite Star Chamber organization of judges that includes this judge issuing all the rulings against the gang members, Boseberg, and a whole bunch of other liberal lunatics, including Ketanji from the Supreme Court. And this was an unbelievable thing. He leads this group, and it's all federal judges from different federal benches, from the Supreme Court to their local districts. Many of them are some of the most radical leftist federal judges and Supreme Court justices on benches today. He leads this organization, and they sit around and talk about how they're going to stop Trump, and we're seeing it happen. So I found that this was an unbelievable article that I found in the Gateway Pundit. What's going on in this country, from the judges and everything else the Democrats are doing, is not random. there is a very well organized insurrection against President Trump. And they really broke it down. And it's there's three things that the Democrats are doing. This is well organized. One, their first effort is this: stopping deportations. Okay, and you see now that's what we've been talking about in the first segment with the judges. Second, use judicial activism to block presidential actions. So you see that? All these executive orders, they move in, boom. They give an order, boom, it's done. They, the commander-in-chief and the defense secretary get rid of the transgender troops. A judge steps in. So they're using left-wing Democrat judicial activists, corrupt judges, every step of the way. And there's many examples of this in the article, which you can find. But that's what they're doing. And their third line of attack is domestic terrorism, which is what we're seeing against Tesla and Elon Musk throughout the country. And it's, there's a lot of examples to back both of these up, and maybe later I'll go through them. This article is in the Gateway Pundit, and I did post it on X this morning if you want to read it. It's a very long article, but it breaks down everything. So the three things, and this is very well organized. I know it doesn't look organized, but I'll tell you, this was an interesting thing, okay? Now, some of you may have seen, I went to the Elon Musk Democrat protest in front of the Tesla dealership in Fort Lauderdale over the weekend, and made a very revealing YouTube video, which was a very hairy and scary thing, I must tell you, to be in that crowd of lunatics. But I saw there over the weekend there were anti-Tesla, anti-Elon Musk, really, anti-Elon Musk protest at Tesla dealerships all over the United States. And what I noticed about them, they were chanting at these protests in New York and elsewhere the exact same thing they were chanting at the protest I went to over the weekend in Fort Lauderdale. Now, how does that happen? They have professional activist leaders at these locations. I don't know how many Tesla dealerships there are in the country, but there's not that many. So they don't need too many activists, okay? Activist leaders. But I imagine, and I did not realize this until after I was at the event on Saturday, because I posted my YouTube video at the Elon Musk protest on YouTube, which if you've not watched it, you should. Brian Craig Show on YouTube, you should watch it. It was very, very scary for me, I got to tell you. But there was one woman who was starting, she started every single chant that they did. And it was almost like a playlist of chants. And then after I posted this online, and I started seeing these other protests that the Democrats had against Elon Musk at the Tesla dealership around the country, not only were they chanting the same things, but it was the same playlist in order, but different people, obviously, at each protest around America. So it shows you organization and leadership on the ground. Okay, and the suspected leader of the local one, I think I did see her, but if I would have known at the time, I would have kept a closer eye on her, but I didn't know till after. So this domestic terrorism that's going on against Elon Musk and Tesla owners, that's Democrat organized activism, domestic terrorism. Activist judges, federal judges, illegally ruling against every action that the president takes, and then 3, stopping the deportation. If that's not an insurrection, and literally a violent insurrection, if you see what they're doing to Tesla owners and the Tesla dealers, if that's not an insurrection and a violent insurrection, I don't know what is. Firebombing, dealerships, vandalizing people's vehicles, doing all kinds of crazy things to them. Is that an insurrection? I'd say yes, that's an insurrection. I'd like to hear what you all think. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back. Now, guys, if you would like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the video. And if you become a Patreon supporter, of course, you support all of my efforts that I do. And you have access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, the Brian Craig Show podcast. And there's a link in the description of the video to my Patreon page. And I would greatly appreciate it. And our new Patreon supporters, welcome. And no doubt about it that what they're doing is out of control. And in particular, one of our new top Patreon supporters, SF Jr. SF Jr., welcome and thank you for your support. S, like in Sam, SF Jr., our newest top Patreon supporter. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, we'll be back in less than 3 minutes. We'll be back. This is our bottom of the hour break on the radio. If you're new to the program, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, would you agree with me that what they're doing, the stopping, using the judges to stop or attempt to stop deportations, the domestic terrorism that's going on, and the judges stopping Trump at every turn, is that not an insurrection? And in this instance, a violent insurrection? I would say, indeed, it is. No doubt about it. In my mind, what do you guys think? We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. If that's not an insurrection, I don't know what is. That picture of me, by the way, that's at Mar-a-Lago. That's at the ballroom at Mar-a-Lago. You can see the beautiful gold. Yeah, I mean, there's no getting around it. If that's not an insurrection, I don't know what is. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll take some calls when we get back. We'll be back in just over a minute. Yes. Monday already. The weekend flew by. I mean, that judge, these are out of control. This isn't just activism. This is a continuation of the lawfare of these judges. That's it. That's exactly what it is. I mean, it's criminal what they're doing. Calling them just activist judges, I just don't think emphasizes what they're doing. These are insurrectionist judges. All right, we'll be back in 20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on this Monday, March 24th, 2025. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, you're right to call this a terrorist action, this whole thing with these judges and all this stuff, you know, because remember, the Democrats have a long history of doing these terrorist actions. The original Democrat terrorist group was Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, that's right. That domestic terror. Yeah, that was their. It was that, but it was also the original Democrat Party community activist organization.
That's right, and that's the thing. Look, if I'm going to go back to this whole thing with Judge Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. If he's head of this Star Chamber, he needs to be done. He needs to be done something to, you know.
Well, they need to look into him. I appreciate the call, Mike. Yeah, they got to look into all of them. I mean, just because you're on a federal bench, you know what? You can't do crime. You know, these judges think because they have a lifetime appointment, there's no accountability, and they can do whatever it is they want to do. Now, these judges that are out there trying to stop the deportations, these are, first off, all the illegals are criminals, right? Hence, illegal. They're here illegal. So they're all criminals. But the ones that they've started with, we all know this, these are the most violent. Listen to this. This is really, this is out of Cobb County. Listen to this story. This local news, Channel 2 out of Cobb County. Oh, my. So why was he free? I mean, how many people have been murdered, raped, or otherwise victimized by these Kamala, Biden, Obama, Democrat dreamers? How many? You know, and when is it going to stop? And, you know, the way that the Democrats are operating right now, there's no way to know how many. There's no way to know how many. And most of these stories you only find about in the local news here and there. The national news doesn't cover this. Not too often. Every once in a while there's a high profile case. But for the most part, they don't. Look at how much coverage, okay, this girl that went missing in the Dominican Republic, okay, probably drowned. And I was talking about this a couple weeks ago when the story first happened. This is what happens when young people drink too much. I mean, my goodness, you know, most of the trouble that young girls run into is alcohol related. And if she drowned, no doubt alcohol. And the guy that was with her, he was drunk as a skunk too. But look at how much coverage they've given to that guy, right? And I understand it's a news story and it's spring break and these were spring breakers. I'm not saying the story shouldn't be in the news. But the guy's been cleared by local authorities. The parents want her declared dead. They want to move on. They know what's going on here. They believe she drowned. Don't know for sure, but they believe she drowned. And there's so much coverage of this. But what about this story? You know, in this country, they don't focus on the national media. Every once in a while, there's a Lincoln Riley that makes the national news, but and it should, but they don't cover these too much because they think it promotes some type of racism or something. Right? And when you see the judges that are intervening and trying to stop President Trump from deporting people, these are the types of people that he's trying to deport. You know, Elon Musk over the weekend posted a news clipping that has a quote from President Roosevelt, not FDR, the good Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt. And Teddy Roosevelt's was a very amazing person, no doubt about it. But in 1907, President Theodore Roosevelt made a comment about immigration. You know, immigration into this country has always been an issue and a controversial issue. And this is Elon Musk, who's an immigrant himself, a naturalized U.S. citizen. He shared this quote from this news clipping from President Teddy Roosevelt. Listen to this. This is a quote from President Theodore Roosevelt. In the first place, we should insist that if the immigrant who comes here in good faith becomes an American and assimilates himself to us, he shall be treated on the exact equality with everyone else. For it is an outrage to discriminate against any such man because of creed or birthplace or origin. But this is predicated upon the person becoming in every facet an American and nothing but an American. There can be no divided allegiance here. Any man who says he is an American, but something else also isn't an American at all. This is Teddy Roosevelt. We have room for but one flag, the American flag. We have room for but one language here, and that is English. And we have room for but one sole loyalty, and that is a loyalty to the American people. That's President Roosevelt in 1907. Elon Musk shared a news clipping with that quote. Spot on and right on. You know, if you liberals out there who pack up your bags and move to Canada like the traitor loyalist in 1875, or you do what Rosie O'Donnell did and go to Ireland, although Rosie may want to come back with Conor McGregor becoming their president over there, you've got to abide by their country. You've got to assimilate into their society, into their culture. You can't go to these other countries and demand that and nobody would even suggest this, and demand that they change their system, their laws, their values for you as a foreigner. You assimilate into their way of life. It's only in this country. And the reason that this country is under attack, where like in Minnesota, the Somalians have their own police and their own laws and all this, which is just so insane, and we see what's been happening in New York City with the radicals up there, is because we're number one. No one cares about Canada. No one really cares about Ireland or England or any of these other countries. These globalists, these anti-American people around the country, these anti-freedom people, they view the United States as the head of the snake. So they want to come over here and divide us and break us down. Because if America falls, all these other countries, these little tiny countries that are not players like Canada and Ireland and England, they'll fall because we're the only thing holding Western civilization together. Without the United States, Western civilization is gone, and these anti-freedom, anti-Western civilization globalists and others, that's why they target us. This is the only country that makes these kind of changes. All these other countries, they say, what are you, out of your mind? This is Greece, this is Italy, this is Canada, this is England, this is... You just can't do that here. No, but they are. Now, I want to tell you guys that Friendly Tire in Margate, oh man, Friendly Tire in Margate, you will not find better prices on tires than you'll find at Friendly Tire in Margate. I've been buying my tires there for close to 20 years, and he has new tires out the door and on the road as low as $70 a tire. Isn't that something? As low as $70 a tire, brand new. And when I say out the door and on the road, it's important to understand what that means. When you call Friendly Tire, Friendly Mike will give you a price quote right over the phone. And that quote is everything. He doesn't charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or even dispose of your old tire. So the price he quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. He has all the name brands you know and love. I'm a Firestone person, but he has Bridgestone, Pirelli, whatever you like. If you've got run flats on your car, best deals on run flats. If you have a Tesla, he can, oh man, get you incredible deals on tires for your Tesla. In fact, Tesla tire installation requires special tools and skills. He has the tools and the skills over there. So those of you that are Tesla owners, great deals. If you have industrial vehicles, he can help you with that. He also has thousands of used tires in stock, but he can get tires for every type of vehicle there is, and at prices that just are so low, it's absolutely amazing. Give him a call, and Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. And remember, that's out the door and on the road. 954-977-9445. He also does tire repairs, which other tire shops don't do. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire and Margate. Make sure you tell him that I sent you. He'll take extra good care of you. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire and Margate. We'll be right back. We'll be back on the air in about 1 minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for joining, and make sure that you follow and subscribe. And if you guys that have already subbed could like the video and share the video on your socials, that would be awesome and greatly appreciated. And those likes, guys, help grow the channel and the community. So that's all appreciated. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Matt Barrows from the communist state of Massachusetts.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey, it was a great show, bro.
Thank you.
And then, actually, this, they always put, like, when they do this a lot of conservatives, they put, like, a lot of ads on it so you guys can disturb the friggin' pattern, you know what I'm saying? New trick they do. I would say more like, instead of insurrection, more like a coup d'etat.
You would say what?
I said instead of insurrection, I would call it more like a coup d'etat.
Well, you know, different words and phrases that mean the same thing. I mean, there is a organized effort to stop the government of the United States in its tracks. Remember what the Democrats said? Interrupt government business. and it's very well organized at the highest levels, and it's even violent if you look at what they're doing at the Tesla dealerships.
That's domestic terrorism. When I took an oath against all enemies, foreign and domestic, it's domestic terrorism. I never thought I'll see it, but
Yeah, but we have real people like Dan Bongino running the FBI now, and I promise you that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are on the case, and they're investigating as we speak on who the leaders of these domestic terrorists are. Hey, welcome to the program, and it's good to hear. You know what we call Massachusetts? We often call it the People's Republic of Massachusetts, which is pretty good.
Really?
I like that. The People's Republic of Massachusetts. Yeah, that's pretty good. Like China. All right, take care and welcome to the program. So if we didn't have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino running the FBI, then you'd have something to worry about. But these two guys, they know everything we know and a lot more, and they're on the exact same page with us always, Kash Patel and Bongino. So we got nothing to worry about. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie.
Hello.
Yep, you're on the air.
I'm happy you're going to be on your trip next week, and
Yeah.
I hope you really enjoy it.
Yes.
I have to throw something at you. I'm watching it. First of all, Chuck Schumer was interviewed, I think it was CBS. One of them, he actually said that during the Obama and Biden administrations, they got over 250 judges that they federal judges that they have progressive left-wing judges that are stopping President Trump.
Correct.
At every step of it. So he admitted it. I mean, that's number one. But the thing is, if you notice what all these broadcasts are doing every time they get somebody from the Trump administration on television, the one thing they're asking, are you abiding by the judge's ruling?
Mm-hmm.
And we keep telling them yes. And that makes me so happy because they're just looking for somebody in the administration or President Trump to say, no, we're going to do what we want. And then all hell will break loose. They'll say, there's a crisis, a dictator in Washington. He's not listening to the
Well,
courts.
if you notice, President Trump and his entire team, not just cabinet members, but others who are on television speaking, their comments are, like you said, they're very well planned responses to everything. President Trump had a press conference in the Oval Office on Friday, and they asked him, do you have the right to do these deportations? And I'll play the audio later, but President Trump said, what about Biden? Did he have the right to open up the border and let them in? You never asked that question. And Kevin McCarthy said over the weekend that Trump broke the Democrat Party. And that's what's happened. They're completely broken and desperate. But these judges are outlaws.
Oh, yeah. You remember, I'm going to throw Mayorkas at you. How many times have we watched for 4 years that every time Mayorkas went to Congress and they had him in, he would say, oh, the border's closed. Mm-hmm. While we were watching hundreds of thousands coming in. So in other words, you got to tell them what they want to hear, but not the truth. Trump has to do
Correct.
what he's got to do. The American
Correct.
people are behind them.
Trump has continued the deportations. They have not stopped. But what Richie's saying is true. The Trump surrogates, if you want to call them that, they never say that on the air because they'll use that soundbite to try to create a crisis.
Create exactly 150%. The only concern that I have is, as far as I'm concerned, the third part of this country, there's a judicial system in this country is a broken system. How we have to go through the process with these corrupt people. This is a disgusting thing. The process is corrupted from the very beginning here. When you have these kind of judges, when you have somebody in the Supreme Court that couldn't tell you what a woman it was, come on. I mean, this whole thing is a disaster. They're saying the executive branch is the problem. No, the executive, you know what the problem is? The judges. And not just the judges, the Congress. Like you said, a lot of these guys in Congress are going back to their districts, and the people are screaming.
Well, what's going to happen? One of these judges, at some point, there's going to be indictments. I promise you, Pam Bondi has grand juries. Right? Grand juries are secret. The only reason we've heard about them in the past is because the Biden regime would illegally leak them out. I promise you, Pam Bondi either has grand juries in place right now, or Kash Patel and Bongino are doing investigations so that they can go to a grand jury for indictments. And at some point, we're going to get a high-profile indictment.
Well, you know how you know this is a corrupt system with the judges? The Supreme Court. What are they waiting for?
Yeah.
They should have this right in front of them right now and say, hey, all you guys in the lower courts, stop it.
But you see, John Roberts is the leader of this judicial insurrection.
Yeah, this is disgusting.
He gave it his blessing last week.
People voted. Oh, but that's what gets me crazy too. When I hear you say we're winning, but at the same time, killers are being burnt up all over the place.
Well, no, but they've arrested some of the domestic terrorists, and they're searching for the leaders. I was talking earlier how I noticed I went to that Elon Musk protest on Saturday in Fort Lauderdale in front of the Tesla dealership, and there was someone there that started all these chants and throughout the entire. And what I noticed later in the day at all these Elon Musk Tesla protests around America, they had the same chants in the same order, which shows coordination, which shows organization, which shows a conspiracy, that they're all linked.
Yeah, Brian, you know where they get that from? If you looked at the Palestinian protests, they're on their cell phones and they're reading right off the cell phone, word for word. These people have it.
Yeah, but you've got to know. Yeah, but there is a coordinated organization that has organized all of these Tesla Elon Musk protests, and it's not that hard to figure out. When I left and I saw that they were the same chants in the same order around the country on the same day, I saw who was starting it. So I don't know who they are, but I saw who I would suspect to have been the organizer and leader and operative of the one that I went to. And
whoever printed that out on the cell phone. I mean, it's on every cell phone. These people they're reading it.
But who's sending it to them? How do they know where to go?
That's what they got to find out.
You don't think Bongino knows? You don't think Bongino knows more than we know?
Oh yeah, I know the FBI would be able to get the word of who's putting this crap out to these people.
If I saw the person I saw that was starting and leading every chant, I don't know, but I would suspect that they're the operative. They're the professional organizer. And they were doing these even in Washington. So I promise you, Bongino, there were probably at least some of these protests over the weekend, there were probably undercover Bongino federal agents there at these things to identify who the leaders are. You don't think they're doing that? Of course they are.
Well, this is all going to come to a head because right now I feel like the guy in the McDonald's line that wants a hamburger in 2 minutes. I mean,
no, you're just impatient. You're just all right, Richie. I appreciate. Well, Richie wants instant gratification. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Did you tell that to your wife during those days? You got to be patient because they're not only are they, this lawfare not only has to be stopped, it has to be done in a legal way, which is what they're doing, okay? You've got to go through a legal process. We can't do lawfare just like they did, but I promise you, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are thinking just like we're thinking, and they're not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. And I'm sure that they're working to infiltrate these people, and it's not that difficult. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, listen up. You better stay away from my man, okay?
All right, whatever. I don't know what that is, but oh boy, here they go, guys. It's happening. Now, I want to ask you this. Do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? Holy smokes. Neuropathy is the worst. It really is. Most people that have neuropathy become homebound, even bedbound in their own home, because the symptoms of neuropathy, you can't get out of bed. And even if you could, you don't want to. You just want to lie in bed and go to sleep probably. The symptoms are awful. The numbness, the pain, the burning, the tingling in the hands and feet, the dizziness, the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and in your feet. Some have no feeling at all. Many sufferers of neuropathy have all of these symptoms at the same time. It's just terrible. Steve had all of them. It was pretty bad. And we went on a search for help. His primary doctor said there's no treatment. He went to a neurologist, a specialist, no treatment for neuropathy. I found Lighthouse Medical. They're in Pompano. And not only does Lighthouse Medical have a treatment for neuropathy, they have a treatment that works and a treatment that lasts. Steve had his neuropathy treatment over 2.5 years ago, and his neuropathy symptoms have not returned. It's amazing. I'm going to give you their number. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. And no matter where you're located, they can help you. You don't have to go in person to get help. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. That's lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's Monday. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Callers on hold. Stand by. We'll be right back. We will be back in less than a minute, guys. Stand by. If you're on hold, hang in there. The toll-free number to call in is pinned in the chat. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. I've covered so much in the first hour. I'll take a call or two before I bring up anything new, but there's been a lot of news over the weekend. So let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Wow. You know, got to ask you a question. Did your wife know you were going to that protest alone?
Oh, you talking about the Tesla Elon Musk protest? Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you get a little behind the scenes of the video. What these leftists try to do is they try to instigate you, but I'm smarter than they are. And then their next step is to attack you and then claim that you started it and then call the police. So before I walked into the crowd, I called my wife and I had her on I had her on the phone on speakerphone and had the phone in my pocket during the whole thing in case anything happened, that she would hear it and she would know and she could call someone, to. So I wasn't. So yeah, she knew I was going.
Man, oh man, I watched. I said, oh no, I know these people are crazy, and maybe not the ones over there, but these people are burning the Teslas down. I was afraid for you, man. I said, oh damn, somebody's gonna smash him in the back of the head or something.
It was getting there, There was one. Did you see the one guy that came over to me and he said, "Get the F out of here, you effing this and that." That guy was like 6'8". I mean, he was like, one of the tallest people I've ever seen in my life, and he was in my face. And what had happened at the end of that, if you watch, by the way, for those that don't know, on Saturday, I went to the Fort Lauderdale Elon Musk protest in front of the Tesla dealership. I was wearing my Make America Great Again hat, and I have an Elon Musk Doge shirt, and I was wearing my Doge shirt. And they got triggered. And towards the end, you could hear this woman say, "You're going to get what you wanted soon, and I'm going to be here to witness it and film it." And I was getting surrounded, and I couldn't see. I was in this sea of liberal lunatics. I couldn't see the street or even the sidewalk. The whole protest turned into a protest against me. And then when that woman said that, I knew that they were amping up for something. That's when I left.
Man, you got lucky, man, because I used to live in Fort Lauderdale. If I was in Fort Lauderdale, I would have ran over there just to watch your back, because man, I figure any time there's something nasty happening, these people, like you said, they're all organized. But luckily for you, there was mostly old and gay people there, I guess, but
older gay people. That guy that was 6'8", he could have killed. One woman, she actually hit me and my camera in the face with an American flag.
Oh, yeah.
When I was walking by her, and when I got there, I had in my pocket the camera that I took with me is a new camera I got for the cruise. It's a DJI camera. It's a very expensive camera. And I have a $12 video camera, and I had that in my pocket. And I'm like, I don't know, should I take this very expensive camera and microphone through this crowd of lunatics, or should I use my $12 camera? So I said, let me get the best footage. I've got a replacement warranty on the camera, but I don't want it to get broken right a week before the cruise. But I use my good camera, which I'm glad I did. They're scary people. But, the one takeaway, they had no young people. So, the Democrat Party is a party of old hippies and washed-up gay activists who still think that they don't have rights.
Yeah. Well, all I suggest is next time, if you're going to do something like that, don't do it. Number one, or have a couple of people like me and some other people.
The way I
behind
handled
you.
it was perfectly. I was very polite. If I would have gone with people, who knows? I appreciate the call, Doug. No. I have not. That was the first Democrat event, like protest, that I've infiltrated in a while, and they are very dangerous. And I don't go to them very often because Democrats are crazy. I was at one event, and it was in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and during rush hour, during the week, and it was like a week afternoon. Like we were there about 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. One Democrat pushed me in front of moving cars, tried to kill me. I was at another event once where a Democrat hit me in the face with their forearm, then went and told the police that I hit her. And her friend said, I saw him hit her, officer. And we were in a public place. I said, there's video cameras around. I said, she's lying to you. If you want to lie to the police officer, there's a video, right? I wasn't videotaping that one like I was on Saturday. So they are very dangerous. They turn violent very quick. And I remember when the Democrat pushed me in front of oncoming traffic on Broward Boulevard during rush hour in Fort Lauderdale, he was laughing while he did it. And so he felt justified in killing me. Can you believe that? I mean, that's how they operate. So I would not recommend doing it. But going alone, while it may be dangerous, you don't amp things up. If I went with someone, it's different. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Bill.
I have a question, and I don't know the answer, and I hope I can get one. If Pam Bondi goes after Alvin Bragg and the judges, and Letitia James and the judges in New York, does she have the authority to move it to an area that is not completely anti-Trump?
Yeah, they can. She can file. It's federal charges. She can file in any federal court she wants.
Oh, okay. Well, that gives me a lot of relief because, it would be just the same.
Well,
thing as Trump.
I can't say a court. She could file. She could bring charge. She could convene a grand jury in any federal district she wants, and then the cases are randomly assigned to judges if there's a criminal case in that district, right? So
she'll have a chance of getting convictions depending on what the jurisdiction and the
you can't. When you hear about judge shopping, if there's like a motion, or you can go to an individual judge of your choosing with a motion, but if there's a criminal thing, she can have a grand jury in any federal district in the country. Guam, if she wanted. Hawaii, if she wanted.
How about D.C.? Same thing.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't matter where they're located because it's federal.
I mean, I tried to look it up, and it seemed that way, but it just didn't say that.
Yeah, no, that's
the question I asked.
Yeah, there's no way. Listen, you don't have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino around just sitting around doing nothing about all this. Their whole lives, the last 4 years, have involved researching and speaking and investigating these lawfare people. So they know who the bad guys are, but you've got to do interviews. Before they were FBI director and deputy director, they were just like me on a show talking about it. So now that they got the job, they have to investigate, they have to interview witnesses, they have to collect evidence, they have to give it to the Pam Bondi's prosecutors, and then they have to then the prosecutors and Pam Bondi have to take it to a grand jury. There's a process. I know Richie wants immediate gratification, but it doesn't work that way if you want it done right.
No, I agree with that because I have all faith in Kash Patel and Bongino and the FBI getting prosecutions. They're doing it. They're doing all their research. And one day, it could be this month, it could be next month, they're going to come back and just shock the nation.
Yeah,
I believe.
Especially when you're talking about indictment.
They have to make the arrest.
They have to get the indictment first from the grand jury. All right, appreciate the call. Yeah, so and and when they do it, it's going to be shocking. When you're going after these big name people, You got to do it in a very deliberate way. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Back after this. We'll be back in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. We'll be back live on the air. Welcome, everyone. I mean, look at these deals on My Pillow products. They just updated the website this morning. In the last hour, they actually updated it. Tomorrow, I'll be at the radio station. I got to go to the radio station tomorrow for something. I'm going to be at the radio station 2 days this week as opposed to my home studio. 20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Now, Mike Lindell at My Pillow, he has just updated his website this morning. In fact, it updated in the last hour because I was going to talk to you about My Pillow in the last hour, and the website was being updated. And it just went at the top of the hour, went live again, and there's a whole bunch of new specials at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane. It's free shipping on orders over $75. The premium My Pillow with the Giza My Pillow, just $19.98 with our promo code Kane. It's made with that Giza cotton. It's just a beautiful pillow. I have these, and the normal price is $69.98. The Giza Dream Sheets made with 100% Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world, $40 off in all sizes. And just incredible deals site-wide. The My Pillow towel set, which I dry off every time I take a shower, just $39.98. Those are $30 off for the 6-piece My Pillow towel set. You can use our promo code Kane on all the specials at mypillow.com. And also, remember, free shipping on orders over $75 with our promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. 4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey there, it's Percy. I'm in Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
Hey, it's good to hear that story of you going down there and really showing it to those lefties. And I got one question for you, Brian. What size diaper were you wearing when you were down there?
Oh, was I supposed to respond to that? What did you he put down the phone because he thought I was going to hang up. Oh, he just hung up. You know, he's been on hold for quite some time. If you were, let me ask you guys this. If you were on hold, wouldn't you think of something better to say than that? I would, but that's just me, you know. That's just how I roll. Okay, now our Commerce Secretary, I love this guy. President Trump has just put together such a perfect cabinet, hasn't he? This cabinet is perfect. Here is, we've been talking, and I love how, you know what he did, that last caller? After he said that stupid thing that I get, was that an attempt at humor? Was he trying to be funny? He's calling from California. You know, I thought in California they had talent out there. I guess not in his case at least. He put the phone down so he could turn up the volume of whatever device he was listening to me on and hear himself on the show. Oh my goodness. Would you want to hear that? I'd be embarrassed. I'm almost embarrassed for you, Percy. All right, anyway, one of the things that President Trump has been talking about through his cabinet is what his main goal is. The president hasn't said this, but his people have. And that is eliminating the income tax. And the left, they hate that. So this is the president's Commerce Secretary talking about just that. Listen.
Don't we all need to contribute to democracy, protect our way of life, right? Then what happens is the world goes into chaos. We come out of chaos, right? And then we're starting to think, well, what do we do? What do we do? And then 1929, the stock market crashes. Right? 1933, we start to say, oh God, we forgot. We need to do tariffs. 1933. How can you do tariffs when the markets crash, the world's going into depression, and you're going to do tariffs in 1933? You can't charge the rest of the world money unless the rest of the world's okay. So it was too little, too late. Right? So then we come out of World War II. It's 1945.
This guy's brilliant.
And we do it in Japan, of course, because they need to be rebuilt. What's the difference, right? So they need to be rebuilt. And then what happens? We have the 50s, and we have the Koreans. So we let them rebuild, which means low tariffs here, high tariffs there. Low tariffs here, high tariffs there. Then we have the Vietnam War, right? So now all of a sudden we have all of Southeast Asia. Low tariffs here, high tariffs there. You know what the best example I can give you to make it crystal clear? Kuwait. We spend almost $100 billion for Kuwait, right? You know what the highest tariffs against the United States of America? The number one country with the highest tariffs against the United States of America. Kuwait.
Wow. After everything we did for them, they wouldn't even be a country if it wasn't for us. So, yeah, this is Lednick, the Commerce Secretary, and he goes on. He explains it all in incredible detail. But that's it. The whole country was funded on tariffs, and then they started the income tax. They would never give it back. And we had these out-of-whack tariffs so these other countries could rebuild after wars, and they've stayed unequal all this time. The time is different now. We've got to rebuild our country. We got to fix our country. You know, I see these videos online of these countries like Dubai. They turn the deserts into oceans and lakes and stuff. Crazy. You can go snow skiing in Dubai in the desert in these buildings. You know, you see these roads in these other countries. They're beautiful and perfect. And you see what we got here. It's garbage because we're funding the whole world. And what President Trump has done is, they always say he's 5 steps ahead, tri-dimensional chess. It is so far above any of that, what he's done. So he's gotten the entire left for months arguing against import taxes increases on these countries around the world. And they've actually made very conservative, Reagan-esque like economic arguments against taxes, the left, on these import taxes, the tariffs. So now he comes in, his tax bill is going to be coming soon. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. What are the Democrats going to do? How can they argue against that? But his big move is to eliminate the income tax. And part of what Doge is doing is eliminating all this government waste so the government can easily run on tariffs. Easily run. The reason it can't is because they're out of whack between us and the other countries. There's so much fraud in the federal government, and we're funding these countries around the world. This second term of Trump is going to be one of the most historic presidencies in the history of presidencies. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you tried. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. You hearing the frustration from the liberals this morning? We've heard from 3 or 4 so far since 6, and they're not in a very good mindset, if you've noticed. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I've started putting together my clothes for the cruise, and I usually pack for the cruise the day before, really the night before, sometimes even the morning of. But this year, I've lost over 25 pounds, so I don't want to do that in case some things. And I am finding right now, I'm wearing a pair of jeans that I bought so many years ago and haven't been able to wear because they were too tight. And I found these in the back of my closet over the weekend, and they fit perfect. They just fit so well. I'm so excited. I've as I've outgrown my wardrobe, I've kept a lot of these things. And you know, people do that. Oh yeah, one day I'll be able to fit in them again, and you know, and I'm finding I am. It's like I'm getting a new wardrobe. Because I'm wearing all these things that I haven't been able to wear in a long time, and you can too. I'm going to give you the number in just a moment to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. And listen, I just wanted to lose 25 pounds, and I did that a month before my goal. But if you want to lose less, or you want to lose more, maybe you want to lose 15 or 20 pounds, maybe you want to lose 50 or 100 or 40 pounds, whatever you want to lose, they can help you, and it works. I'm eating the regular foods I would normally eat. I'm not starving myself, and most importantly, I am doing 0 exercise. Who has time for that? Here's the number. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. "90 seconds. We'll be back, guys. Welcome. And guys, if you'd like to support the program, mypillow.com with our promo code Kane is a great way to do that. Mike Lindell's been a supporter of this program for many, many years because you and this audience support him. And every time you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com, you're letting Mike Lindell know you support him and this program, and it's greatly appreciated. You can see huge deals going on right now at mypillow.com. Back in 1 minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. There's only one opening on our board at 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Brian. Can you hear me?
I can. Turn down the volume of your... Yeah, turn down the volume in the background. All right, I'm going to have to put her on hold. Boy, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Steve from Brooklyn.
Hey, Steve.
I'm the fellow that called you up Friday and told you about the protests that were going on in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and I went.
I know, and my problem was I passed by 11:30. Nothing was going on.
Yeah, well, it didn't start till 1.
I passed by at 4 o'clock. I saw it. I jammed my brakes. I parked in the Tesla lot and went out there. There were about 4 or 5 other people with me. I grabbed one of their American flags. They had a.
Well, you're an idiot. Flag. I mean, I'm not. You're an idiot to do something. First off, I don't believe anything he said. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Brian from Delray Beach.
Hey, Brian.
How you doing, Brian? 2 things, really, is we have to get the corrupt politicians up out of there. How else are they making these millions of dollars on a $175,000 a year salary? I believe it's the kickbacks that they're getting from all this money that's going overseas.
Of course.
And number 2, yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. And really, what you were talking about, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
How we won big, and the thing is, how do you lose 6 Senate seats when we won so big? I believe there's still
the reason that is obvious, right? A lot of lifelong Democrats voted for Trump, right? Because look at the House of Representatives, okay? the House of Representatives, we have the majority in both houses, but in the House, where the whole House is up, it's a slim majority. The reason that is because a lot of lifelong Democrats voted for Trump, but they still voted Democrat down ballot. That's all. It's obvious. There's no conspiracy around it. It's just what happened.
All right.
If what you were thinking was true, Trump wouldn't have won. We're not victims on the right, right, man? It's obvious what happened. I mean, if you've got lifelong Democrats voting Republican, ain't easy. So they didn't really vote for the Republican Party; they voted for Trump.
Right. But in order to pass this agenda, we need more of a majority.
No, we've got plenty. We've got plenty. We got plenty.
You got a lot of rhinos in that Senate. A lot of rhinos.
There's always going to be rhinos. I mean, listen, we're never going to have everybody and everything. There's going to be dissent. It's America, all right? So, I mean, a lot of people think, well, if there's one never-Trumper out there, we haven't won. You're not going to convert the whole country. It's always going to be about 50-50.
Yeah. But I say follow the money. Get after them corrupt politicians. Like, you figure, how's AOC worth $30 million? She's been in Congress 5 years.
$30 million? Really? Is that how much she's worth? I haven't heard that. She's worth $30 million?
Yeah, I see that.
No. She's a socialist. She said she's a socialist. She's against wealth. All right, take care, man. She's against wealth. She can't be a millionaire. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you did make... By the way, that one guy that called earlier that told me about the event, now you can see what we're... You see what I got to deal with? That guy is an operative. He is not what he claims to be, as was shown to be. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Frank from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Frank.
How you doing, Brian?
All right.
I would have to say to Ludnick that in the 19th century, the reason tariff taxes were able to finance government is we didn't have much government to finance. They were still paying off Lincoln's war bonds from his attempt to conquer the South. But he was also saying about in 1929 we had a stock market crash. In 1933 we had the Great Depression. But he failed to mention that one of the reasons we had a Great Recession was in 1930 we had the Smoot-Hawley tariff, one of the highest taxes in history, and that's what caused a big economic downturn.
Listen. This is not a history class, or some of what you say has got some truth to it, but it's not exactly accurate either. But here's the thing, okay?
What's not accurate? I don't get
the context in which you said it. Things are different now.
Yeah, but what's not accurate? Can you be specific?
if you would stop talking,
We did have
if you would stop talking and listen, you would hear. Okay.
Okay.
The country was run on tariffs for a long time. Government was smaller. That is true. However, President Trump just got rid of an entire government agency, the Department of Education. Government's being slimmed and trimmed. Number two, really, prior to World War II, we were not a major nation like we are now. We were still a developing nation. Until the 30s, we were still working on electrification of America. We were a developing nation until after the Second World War, in so many ways. So the United States today is the largest economy and also the largest consumer nation. No one is as rich or consumes as much. So while the government will always be bigger, no matter how much Trump and Doge do, because we're the number one economy and the richest nation and the largest consumer nation, you could easily fund things when it's trimmed down on tariffs. So far as the 1930 tariff you're talking about, there's things just don't apply to today. Because because of the economic, the depression started in 29. The economic depression started even really before that because of the war reparations to Germany and Europe and everything else. So I'm not saying that some of your facts are factual, but your conclusions are wrong, based on a lot of other factors that I'm not going to bore the audience with.
Well, you said that about the tariff in 1930, but government.
No, we're not going to bore. We're not going to bore the audience with economic historic discussions. Call Joyce Kaufman. She bores her listener every day, and I'm sure she'd love to talk to you. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. You cut me off, but let me just finish.
No, I cut you off because on purpose. You call again, you'll be gone. What you said was stupid, and you're stupid. I mean, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, IB. Hi, Brian.
Hey, IB.
Hey, did you park your scooter, your MAGA scooter down there by the Egg and You Diner restaurant? Is that where you had
well, I don't know what that is. No, I took my Vespa, the MAGA scooter, and I parked it at the Vespa dealership where I bought it, which was a couple blocks from the protest.
Yeah, you were up to north then. I know you were by McDonald's. I didn't know which one. Hey, man, could you imagine those old fogies still thinking they're kids and they're griping about something that didn't work out in their adolescence? I mean, like they're just all retired people have nothing to do,
Well, it was really strange at that Elon Musk protest I was at on Saturday. There were a lot of gay activists there, and they were using a lot of very salty language about me and my mother, and things I can't say right now. And and these gay activists, they're under the impression that that the gay rights that they've griped about don't exist, right? I mean, they still think they're being oppressed as gay people in America. The entire gay rights agenda has been accomplished.
I will just say they simply need a reason to get out of the house and huddle, but at the same time they're being pushed into it by, like you say, the leader. The same thing on television. Who tells these people to say the same talking points? You can put up like 18 channels and they're all saying the same thing almost verbatim. But I want to talk about Schumer. Schumer on a couple of shows, once again, admittedly already said that they already had these judges in position. So they are already waiting like sleeper cells to circumvent the law. So I'm not going to use the word like necessarily constitution, but we're going to use the same words back against them because I said, let's see what 3 cases Kash Patel is going to start with. You know what? You want to have a low-hanging fruit. We could start with Fannie, Phony, Brawny, Willis. We could start with her taking cash to checks to Publix. How come we could
What Bongino, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi are doing, I'm telling you, they're building a RICO conspiracy case between Bragg, Letitia, Fannie, and the Biden administration. And that takes time. You got to be patient.
The dots are there. All we have to do is put it, like they say, dot the I and cross the T's, okay? And remember, Zelensky said Trump had a perfect call. They said he had a great call. They impeached him, right? Biden said we're not going to give Ukraine the money if they didn't basically let Hunter go. Nothing happened, right? Now, Chuck Schumer just told us they already have all these judges in position waiting to do not what we the people want, but what they want. Mm-hmm. And he said we have 7 ways and Sundays to get you. So all of this week he's been in this thing all his life. He's a part of the deep state. So now these sleeper cell judges are coming to do their bidding. And that's
right. That's right. All right, IB. I got to run for the break, but you're right on the money. All right, listen. We're going to take our last break of the second hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I want to remind again all of you that are going on our cruise, if you've not already done your online pre-check-in, do it. It's very important. Let me tell you, it's very, very important. I thought that it was just a convenience because when you get to the port, you get on board faster, and that's true. But if there's any mistakes on your reservation, which could be 1 digit off on your passport number or a slight misspelling of your name, you may not be able to board. So part of the pre-check-in, what it is to catch any of these inaccuracies, and they can be taken care of so that you don't have any problems and you can get on the ship. In fact, I mentioned this last week once, and many of you did it, and there were a couple people that had some problems. I don't know what they were, but they had some problems that there were some inaccuracies on the reservation, and Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot was able to correct it. So if you've not checked in, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. He'll walk you through it and make sure, because, hey, we're 6 days away from setting sail. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot today if you've not already pre-registered for your boarding, okay? I did it weeks ago. Okay, we'll take our last break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back in less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Callers on hold, stand by. I was just texting with Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot during the break. One of our MAGA cruisers actually had a typo when they typed in their own name on the reservation that he caught because they checked in early and it was caught. If they'd have gotten to the port, they may not have been able to board. So, guys, that's some serious stuff. All right, now I want to share with you a couple of clips here of our favorite president, Donald Trump. He had a great press conference in the Oval Office on Friday before he came back to Florida with Elon. And these reporters, boy, he gave the best response to this idiot reporter from the fake news. Listen to this. This is Friday's Oval Office press conference with the president. Now listen to how he turns this on the reporter. Yeah, I mean, so President Trump, he said it right there. Did Biden have the right? Oh boy. And these fake news reporters are so stupid that never even occurred to them before. You're on the air. We'll try again. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me, Brian?
I can hear you. You have to turn down the volume in the background. Turn down the.
Okay, just text it. Just okay.
All right, hold on. Let me. Okay.
I have to look in the.
All right.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yes. Brian, hi. How are you? Listen, I watched your video. I actually gave me hope. Gave me hope. Yes, because they look so psychopath and deranged. By the way, these people are not Democrats. They are communists.
Well, you know, the Democrats that are in my, and if you guys have not seen my video of at the Tesla dealership with these Democrats, you guys got to watch it. It's on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. You know what's scary? Excuse me. What's scary about those people is a couple months ago they were running the country. I mean, think about that. Those yeah. And if you listen, they were calling me a communist. Throughout, did you know that they were calling me a communist throughout the whole thing? I couldn't believe it.
They say you were Cuban, right?
You know, if you look up gringo in the dictionary, it has my picture. And this one woman says to me, "I bet he's Cuban." To me, they were accusing me of being whatever that means. They were accusing me of being Cuban.
Oh my God! Maybe she wanted to be friends with you because she's so communist. Listen, Brian, I saw, and I didn't know there was so many communists now in the United States, because back in the days when I was there was no communists. But, Brian, I just wanted to tell you something very serious. This is very important. I know you like Pam Bondi because she was in Miami. I don't know what she is in Miami. I don't care. If it comes with the judges and all these official people, I understand you have to make it right. But when, first of all, okay, do you remember when President Trump won in November? There was no protest. Why? Because they were afraid. Because he won the swing states, popular votes, the Congress, and the Senate. Yeah. But, and then they were shaving their head.
Well, no, get to yeah. So you said, you know, I like Pam Bondi because she's from Florida. What's the rest of that? Where are you going with that?
Oh, let me finish. If you let me finish, I tell you. So they were shaving their heads, and then they wake up a little bit with their communist delusion, and then they said, okay, we want to boycott X. And now, when they saw that nothing happened, okay, nothing happened, now they are not even afraid. Listen, last night I saw on X, they went and they fired a Tesla dealership in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Even though they knew.
Yep.
You understand they have the website?
And Pam Bondi said last night they've already arrested 3 domestic terrorists, and they're gonna make more arrests.
No, the 3. No, hold on. The 3 domestic with like one of them is a transgender. That was a week ago. Okay.
Yeah.
But listen, you have to do prevention. Laura Loomer, she has this whole thing saying this is the place they're gonna go. There is like 7 cities, 7 areas in the
When I was at the Tesla on a dealership on Saturday with those Democrat lunatics, there was a very heavy security presence of police officers at Tesla. I only showed one of them on the video because he approached me and talked to me. But there was a lot of security there. I just didn't show it because it's not appropriate to show security like that.
No, actually you showed it. Actually.
So but you know, yeah.
Last night in LA, in downtown LA, they burned.
Yeah.
Maybe someone, you know what? If someone is gonna get killed, and they're like, you know, they have to do something. They have to do.
They
something.
are.
Otherwise,
I mean, but what do you? I mean, what they are.
The Tesla are burning. They're not doing anything. I'm sorry to tell you.
You can't. Listen. It takes time. You can't. They don't have the ability to look into the future and identify future criminals.
Excuse me. No, they have this website. This Chinese, whatever her name is, ecologist, whatever her name is. She is telling where we're gonna do it. This is prevention. It's like a terrorist, like Hamas, or I don't know. They're gonna say,
they're treating them that way. But it you know, all right. I appreciate the call. It's just like in Iraq, we had the insurrection that went on in Iraq for a while when they were attacking our troops for a while over there after the surrender. I mean, these are domestic terrorists, and you can't prevent everything that happens. Now, a lot of you have 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all these different type of investments. But I want to ask you this. Do any of them guarantee you income for the rest of your life? No, they don't. Annuities do. You want to call Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, he's offering free phone consultations to our listeners, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located in the United States. Give him a call, and he's going to put together a custom proposal just for you based on your needs, your wants, your situation, your goals. And, caller earlier was talking about, we were talking about the income tax, and he was talking about the Great Depression. No matter what happens in the stock market with annuities, your money's safe. You're not going to lose any money, and you're guaranteed an income stream for life. Give Joe Thomas a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We don't have time for any more calls before the top of the hour break. 2 hours are down already. Holy smokes. This show is flying by, and I've only gotten to like 5%, maybe, of my show prep for this morning. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, no matter where you're located, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this. We'll be back in just over a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll take a call or two before I bring up anything else. Some people have been holding on since... No, Steve will be back later this week. 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Hour number 3 has begun already. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And for those that are wondering, Steve Kane will be back later this week, all right? Okay. Well, let me take a call or two before I bring up anything new, because some have been holding since the last hour. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, good morning. Tom, how you doing?
All right, Tom. What's on your mind?
Just out of curiosity, I mean, how many... all these murderers and all these insane people coming over here, right? How come what are they? Why aren't they in jail and they're convicted of murder?
They were convicts in their home countries. And when you enter the United States under Joe Biden and border...
How did they get out of jail?
I'm telling you. Oh. These countries in South America, in particular Venezuela, let these criminals out of jail. These murderers, rapists, drug dealers, they let them out of jail.
Venezuela is the country that's taking them all back in.
They're taking, right? Over the weekend, Venezuela said they'll take in their own people, yes.
So they'll let them out, then they'll take them back
No,
in.
no, that's why, no, slow down, slow down.
I'm slow, calm down.
That's why some of these prisoners are being sent to El Salvador to go in the prisons there. The ones that are violent, dangerous, they're being sent to El Salvador where they will not be released.
Okay.
That's why.
I'm just wondering why all these countries are letting these murderers, rapists, and
because they don't want to. They don't want for a couple of reasons.
And then take them back
for a couple of reasons. They don't. Do you want an answer? I'm trying to answer, and
Brian.
I mean, it sounds like you're eating. What are you eating?
You're taking.
What are you eating?
Don't get off the subject, Brian. Why are they letting them out?
So you're eating. You don't want to tell people what you're eating.
Oh my God!
I can hear you eating.
Are you that petty, Brian? I am in
a mental hospital? Where are you?
For work.
Okay, you're in a gas station.
Yeah, same one that you were in. Yeah, I heard all day. They talked about you every day, Brian.
Yeah,
how much fun you were.
The same gas station I was in. What gas station are you in that I was in where they know me?
Oh, I didn't. You said insane asylum. I was.
The insane asylum. No, okay. Yeah. This is what happened. Okay. You want the answers? You want the answers? You want the answers?
Brian, I'm waiting.
I can tell. I know, waiting to talk. The Venezuela and other countries in Latin America let these hardcore rapists and murderers out of their prisons, put them in caravans heading towards America because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said they're welcome here. And they didn't want to pay or have these scummy people in their country. Now, the reason they're taking them back, and the ones that Trump doesn't trust them for are going to El Salvador, is because Donald Trump is promising hardcore embargoes on these countries, which will put them out of business if they don't take them back.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, Brian.
It does.
So you're telling me Joe Biden said, go ahead, let them out.
Yes.
Bring them over here and we'll take them as citizens.
Yes. And when they were when they came in, and when they entered the country, he hung up. Tom hung up. I did not hang up on Tom. He hung up. He woke out of the coma. Now I have something I want to share, but I want to first share one more clip of the president. I wasn't going to play this one right now, but the call before the top of the hour was talking about the attacks on the Tesla dealerships. In the White House press conference on Saturday, President Trump was asked about the domestic terrorism on the Tesla dealers. Listen. That's right. Okay. And you don't think Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are on that, tracking it down? Absolutely they are. And if you don't believe it, go back and listen to some old Dan Bongino podcast over the last 4 years. I don't hear him just talk about all these things. Believe me, they're on the job. I saw a story over the weekend that was so insane, I couldn't believe it was real. A police officer in New Jersey has on his uniform the Palestinian flag. Did you see this? Yeah, this is in the Gateway Pundit. Gateway Pundit reporting an American police officer in New Jersey wearing a Palestinian flag on his uniform instead of an American flag. That's right. And the city where he works as a police officer are where some of the 9/11 hijackers were located. The mayor referred to the city as Little Palestine. And they have a sign when you enter the city limits that says, "Welcome to Little Palestine," from Patterson to Jerusalem. It's Patterson, New Jersey. And I saw this story, and I couldn't believe it was real, but it is. They interview this guy. It's in. I get. What do they speak? Arabic? I'm not sure what they speak, but I'm going to play this interview. He's a police officer. You know how police officers dress these days and all that tack gear. He's wearing tactical gear, and he has the Palestinian flag right under where it says police on the front of his vest. Now, while he's speaking Arabic or whatever language this is, there's subtitles, and I'll tell you what he's saying. But this is an interview with a police officer in Patterson, New Jersey, Little Palestine. He's got a Palestinian flag right on the front of his uniform. He says, "Can you tell us about yourself?" He gives his name. He says, "I'm originally from Palestine." He says, "I was born in Palestine, and I work at a police station." And the reporter who's talking to him in Arabic, he says, "What caught my attention about your outfit is that you have a Palestinian flag. Can you tell me why you have the Palestinian flag on your uniform? And give us some feedback from your colleagues." Now, I'm reading this guy's being interviewed in New Jersey in a shopping center, and I'm reading to you the translation, which is given in a graphic on a video. Oh, I guess feedback in Arabic is feedback, because he said feedback. I heard feedback. He said, so they asked, "What feedback have you gotten from your coworkers from having this Palestinian flag on your uniform?" The officer says, "My family is Palestinian. I'm Palestinian. I love my country, Palestine. Can you tell us how long you've been in the police?" And this is the problem. that we have in this country. Okay, it's what we were talking about earlier. We've had this mass immigration, much of it illegal. People brought, this is why President Trump had the Muslim ban in his first term. People from all over the world are being brought here, and they're turning the communities into their communities, into their countries, into with their laws and background. I mean, my goodness. Now, he did have an American flag on his shoulder, which is part of the uniform, but on the front, he had the Palestinian flag. That's Obama's America. You know, Obama is responsible for all of this, okay? Obama did all of this in his 8 years. This is what his focus was on. If you look back at his presidency, it seems so uneventful, but the things he was doing are behind the scenes. All these Hamas professors that we have, this guy, right? All this lunacy that's going on. Many of these lunatic judges that are involved in this insurrection against the executive branch of government, the President of the United States. This is all Obama's doing. And the last 4 years, he was involved in it too. So Obama, his presidency was quite eventful. It was just behind the scenes in smoke-filled back rooms. And now, years after he left office, we've been suffering through what he was really working on. That's what a lot of this going on in our public schools as well is because of him. Now, I'm going to take the first break of our third hour. We've got much more to discuss. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this. We'll be back in about 1 minute, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are watching. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Of course, I got to mention the sad loss. Mia Love has passed away. She was the first black woman elected to Congress as a Republican and died from brain cancer at the age of 49. And, oh, man, the left went after Mia Love when she was only a one-termer. And it was sad loss, just 49 years old. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's take some calls before I bring up anything new. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
How are you?
All right. How are you?
So, I always thought you were a little rough on Tom, and I was going to talk to you about that, but never mind. The guy deserves what he gets.
I mean, he's a weirdo. I mean, the reason I talk to Tom the way I do, it's the only way he'll pay attention. He's a short school bus kind of guy, so I got to talk to him in a certain way to keep him alert and attentive.
Absolutely. And he actually posed the question as if we have an answer as to why Biden and the communists allowed all these criminals and murderers and rapists into our country. And it's obvious. It's because they want the chaos. They want to
Correct.
Destroy our country and reform it in a way they think would be better suited for them and their power.
Correct.
And yeah, it's really hard to think that we, quote, have Americans that would want that.
See, listen, it's right out of Rules for Radicals, what they did, cause chaos. Remember the Cloward and Piven strategy? You overwhelm the system, it collapses, and then when they try to save everything, they get everything they want. There were two things going on to cause total disruption and division in the country. The border invasion with the crime wave, that's one. And there were many things, but another one was this whole transgendered sports thing. Everything they were doing in the last 4 years was to cause division and to try to, but it backfired on the Democrats. They united the country against them.
Exactly. Their thought was, the Venezuela was, we'll dump all our garbage people into America because they never expected that there'd be somebody in place that would send them back.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate the call. All right. Now, I saw on X this morning, I've not seen a confirmation in the news of this, but if it's true, this is beautiful. I saw this on X this morning. RFK Jr. is preparing to ban pharmaceutical ads on television. And, pharmaceutical ads on television are relatively new. I don't know how long they've been on, 20 years, 25 years. And now you don't even realize they're there. But when they first started and they would have these disclaimers at the end, it was like a joke. I mean, people thought these were Saturday Night Live parody commercials when they first came on. But a number of years ago, I was listening to a media expert interviewed on National Public Radio. National Public Radio did this in-depth, almost like radio documentary on advertising for, prescription medications on television. And they had a guy who was a medical person, they had a marketing person, they were all talking about this, and they said doctors, for the first time, when ads for medicine started on television, for the first time, patients came in and started asking the doctors for particular medications. They never did that before. And that's why people are so doped up on every medication under the book that you've ever heard of. And I don't know that I saw this on X. I have not seen this reported in the mainstream places, but I hope it's true for a number of reasons, including the pharmaceuticals have so much juice, so much power over the media because they dump they're one of the biggest ad spenders on television news are the pharmaceuticals. And that comes with a lot of power and influence over the content. So on top of the health aspect, that aspect's a good one too. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Kenny, Palm Beach.
Hey, Kenny.
How are you?
All right. How are you?
Good. I just finished watching your YouTube video.
Oh, at the Tesla Elon Musk protest? Yes.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, you got some sand, boy. I mean, those people were out of their mind.
It was scary. They were definitely scary people.
Were you with anybody, or were you doing it solo?
I was all alone.
Oh gosh.
But I did. Well, I mentioned this. I mentioned this in the first hour. I went alone on purpose. I called when I got there, I called my wife on my cell phone and kept her on the speaker, and I had my phone in the pocket. So I said, if things get out of control with these lunatics, because what they want to do is their first tactic is try to get you to incite something. You could tell they're trying to egg me on, like they're going to get a reaction of violence from me. Even one lady even hit me and my camera in the face with a flag, the American flag. It caught me off guard to see an American flag at a Democrat protest. I've never seen that before. But I had my wife on speakerphone in my pocket, which you can kind of hear in the video in some portions of it, because if something happened, she'd hear it. They want to try to get you arrested, and that was not. I know how to handle these people, so their tactics didn't work. But they were following me around and getting very nasty and aggressive with me the whole time. You could see it in the video.
I mean, I come from the age of Vietnam protests and all that, and there used to be university sit-ins at the school I went to. I personally have never, ever had any desire or effort to be in a demonstration. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm in media. I mean, I'm in media, so that's why I do it.
No, I'm not referring to you. I'm referring to all the knuckleheads that were out there. I mean, you were doing your reporting job. I get it, but I have to tell you, unfortunately, I mentioned it to you before, that my entire family, extended family, everybody I know is liberal.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I did get my wife to convert to voting for President Trump.
At least that's what she told you. Did you go in with her to do it?
No, I asked her outright, and I said, just level with me. If you didn't, you didn't. But she did. And
good.
Anyhow, the story is I had to call my son-in-law, who I get along with very well, who drives a Tesla, and I asked him, are you afraid to take your Tesla out? And he said, yes, a little bit. He's in a Chicago suburb.
Oh, very dangerous.
Low crime, suburb.
Yeah.
But he occasionally has to go into Chicago.
Oh, no.
And
rent a car.
I wouldn't take it into Chicago. But the irony of this Tesla protest is, I don't know what the figures are, but I would have to say most of the people who are Tesla owners probably are liberals.
90% at least. It's got to be 90% or more, even 95. I would say.
He didn't have an explanation. I don't know if anybody does. It's like they're protesting against their own.
That's right. They're eating their own. That's right. And they're too stupid to know it. I appreciate the call, man. No, they're right. Yeah, and when I went to that protest, I was wearing my Make America Great Again hat, and I have a Doge shirt that I bought for the cruise that has Elon and the president on it. It says Doge on it. Oh, my goodness. They were triggered. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you?
All right.
I think it was Obama that coined the phrase that elections have consequences. And his election, when he got in, we were just kind of well, I won't say we're wrapping up the consequences, but you look at what followed in his administration, brought in the Biden administration, brought all the problems we had in his last term, Biden in office and that. Totally the Clowers Piven playbook. It's just, I think somebody said it's hard to believe that somebody would want to do this to the country, but this has been ramped up and going on for quite a long time now, and it's a disgrace to see. As for the people, I watched your video down in Fort Lauderdale. It's hard to believe that people are so myopic and really don't have a grasp of what's going on. I mean, it looked like a convention for the MSNBC, CNN crowd.
Yeah.
Space Nancy, all this stuff. It must have, I tell you, it must have been difficult just to be around that area, because the negative energy and the people who really don't have a firm grasp of what's really going on in the country, who are stuck in their ideological ways, no matter what is said, no matter what evidence is presented to them. I don't know what they're thinking when they're seeing their whole party collapsing, their legacy media collapsing. Everything.
Well, you can see they were unglued. I mean, they were. You could hear the way they were talking to me and the things they said.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I thought a couple guys were going to go after you actually when they saw you there.
It was scary. I mean, you know, they were surrounding me, and you know, they were gearing up. And if you about 3/4 into the video or so, you'll hear one woman who was following me the whole time. She says, "You're going to get what you want soon, and I'm going to be here to witness it and film it." And I knew what that meant. They were egging on to attack me, and then she was going to tell the police that I started it, right? Yeah. And if you heard, they kept saying, "He's here to instigate. He's here to instigate," you know. And I'm like, "No, I'm just here, like you, in my town." But yeah, they were.
Did anybody in the crowd that you encounter have any good comments, intelligent comments to make as far as what their position is versus like Tesla and Elon Musk?
No, there was nothing. There was nothing. I mean, there was nothing. And I wasn't really expecting the police to help, because it's Fort Lauderdale. They're so liberal there.
Yeah.
You know, the police are on their side.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I don't know, but it was really sad to watch. And a lot of these people are older people, mature people. I'm sure they've been around in several elections and that, and they really just don't get it.
The one guy that came up to me and said, "Why don't you get the F out of here, you effing this and that?"
Yes.
He was one of the biggest men I've ever seen in person. He was like Andre the Giant size. And he was right up in my face. You can tell by how far above he is from my camera. But when he comes up to me, I know what you're talking about. I mean, he was one of the biggest men I've ever seen in person, and he was so aggressive. And I'm standing there, I'm like, "Oh my God, here it comes!" And he just wouldn't back off. It was, it was.
Well, the intimidation policy is not working anymore. They've given up all the ground. They've given up all the talking points. They're losing the legacy media. They're losing the financing, and that they're on a political party which is almost irrelevant now. So to watch this last gasp, they think they're going to take down Tesla and Elon Musk. I don't think so. Donald Trump, I don't think so.
But you know, there's something to be said. Fort Lauderdale, which is my favorite city in all of Florida. Okay, it's got the best beach, and don't go to Miami, go to Fort Lauderdale. It's a very liberal town. They're harassing these people at the Tesla dealership that are working there, and the people bringing their Teslas in to get service. Those are all Democrats. They're attacking their own people, and they're so deranged they don't even realize it. And I know. Listen, I know two people that are conservative that own Teslas. All right, in my personal life, one's a family member, one's a friend. But it's got to be 95% or more of Tesla owners are liberal. Got to be.
Yes. Everybody I know that has a Tesla is a liberal, and you should try to give me a little bit lecture how this is the future and clean air and the climate change. What are they talking about now?
I got a brother-in-law who lives down by the University of Miami, but he works in Palm Beach, and he drives. So he has a Tesla, okay, because he drives. I don't know how far. I know one other person that's conservative that has a Tesla. Everyone else I've ever known is a Democrat, and it's so they don't even see what they're doing. I appreciate the call. We got a break for the bottom. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Now, guys, if you'd like to support my content, support the program, go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can see they just updated the website today with these huge spring sales. Great deals going on at mypillow.com with our promo code KANE right now. Free shipping on orders over $75. I mean, look at these prices. Just absolutely amazing. If you're on hold, hang in there. There's only one opening on the board. Look at this. The Giza Dream Sheets, 100% Giza cotton, $40 off. This is the premium MyPillow with the complete Giza cotton cover. Look at this, just $19.98. That's usually $69.98, so it's $50 off with our promo code KANE. So great deals, and of course, free shipping on orders over $75 with our promo code KANE at checkout. Okay, we'll be back in just over 30 seconds. So if you're on hold, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm going to go right back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, this is Alex. I'm calling from Miami. How you doing?
All right, Allie in Miami. What's on your mind?
The thing about these crazy leftists that is super fundamental is the fact that they're not Christians. I think it's pretty obvious that it's like atheists against Christians, and I wonder what you think about that.
Well, there's some of that. You know, the left are godless. You know, if you go around the world, wherever the Marxists take over, they take God out of it because God gets in the way of them and the government.
How'd that happen here?
Well, the left have always been atheist. I mean, that's just how they are. That's how it happened. But they're a minority. The left, listen.
During the Civil War, was that when the leftist party became like Democrats came about? Or
Probably no. It would after the Communist Revolution in the Soviet Union.
Which is when?
Well, after the First World War.
After the First World War.
Yeah, after the First World War, the communists, when the war was over, they started infiltrating the United States. And that's when all this started.
Before World War II?
Yes. Before. Yeah. Because the communists started spreading their ideology after the war, after the First World War. And
where?
Well, they're still doing it today, the atheist.
But what part of the world did they come from after World War I?
New York, Columbia University, Los Angeles, Harvard, Yale. That's right. Yes, that's where they are now. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Never Trumper Steve here in beautiful Palm City.
Mm-hmm. What's on your mind?
Just want to go over a few of your comments that you made this morning. It is true what you said that illegal migrants have committed a crime, but probably what your listeners don't know is that on a first offense, it's considered a misdemeanor. It's not even a felony, punishable only up to 6 months in jail. So that's how the law is written. As far as
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is when you leave your very large house, as I could tell because there's such an echo in there, when you leave your house, do you lock the door or do you leave it unlocked?
Depends where I'm going.
Really?
I I have a guard at the gate. So
wait a minute. You live in a fenced-in, guarded community with walls and fencing around it? Why?
Probably like what you live in.
Why? No. Hold on. Why do you live in a gated, fenced-in, walled-in community with security guards out in front of it? Why?
Actually, I don't know why, because I'm paying a lot more maintenance for it.
No,
and
come
never
on.
do it again.
Come on.
It's a waste of money.
No.
It's
Why
a waste of money.
No, why did you do it? You bought the house. Why? And you said.
I'll tell you why. Because it's an advantage when you try to sell your house.
No,
trying to do
there are people you don't want in. So let me ask you. Some Trinidad de Aquafina gang members, they jump the border and they come to your guarded gate community. Are they welcome to come in and move into your house and use your toilet and eat your food? And
more so than coming to your house. No more than anyone's house, whether they had a guard.
Well,
or
wait
not.
a minute. These are. But why do you want them in the country then? If they can't come in your community, why do you want them in America?
If we have due process,
I'm not into your listen, I'm not into your abstract theory. This isn't some Rachel Maddow bore fest, okay? You live Steve, you live in a gated community with guards and walls and fences because you don't want anybody just coming into your neighborhood. So why do you want America opened up if you live in this little island?
Why are you in a gated community?
Who said I'm in a gated community?
I'm suggesting you are. You make a lot of money off this show. Why wouldn't you?
I do not live in a gated community.
I have to wonder about that.
It's true. I've talked about this many times. In fact, that's why I have the doorbell camera from Sloman's that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. I do not live in a gated community. You do. And not only that, you have a gated community with fence, walls, and security. Because if Trinidad de Aquafina, excuse me, if Trinidad,
we're going off on a tangent.
No, we're not.
Too much time on that. Really.
No. This is. I know you don't want to talk about it because it exposes your hypocrisy.
We've talked about it today. I'm in a gated community.
Yeah.
For the same reason, a lot of people are in a gated community.
Because you don't want rapists and murderers from Trinidad de Aquafina near you. If they were moving into your community, then all of a sudden you would want to be. You would want them out. Now, let me just take this opportunity to talk to you about the doorbell camera from Sloman's. No, I don't live in a gated community. If I were buying a house today, I might. I bought my house a long time ago, and I'm not in a gated community. But I have the doorbell camera, which is an incredible security device. I get a notification every time there's movement in front of my house. And you can get a doorbell camera that connects to your cell phone for free with the installation of your Sloman Shield. That's right. And Sloman's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give Sloman's a call right now, no matter where you're located. 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Hey, Jay. How are you?
Wow, I haven't seen your video yet of when you went to the Tesla.
Oh, yeah, watch it. You'll love it.
I'm going to get a good laugh out of that one. Wish I could have been there. They must not know who you were.
You would have stood out because it was almost 100% white. These tolerant liberals apparently don't like black people.
All these town halls and all these rallies are all white people.
Yeah, because liberals don't like black people, yeah.
No, they're not all liberals. They're Republicans.
All right. What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
That's not what I call for.
I'm up against the break. What's on your mind?
I'm going to bring it up. Okay, did you know that when they shipped all those people over there to that jail over there in that country, they took a gay white American who stood up for the guy that was somebody that was near him. He spoke wrong to the people. They snatched him up too. They took him over there.
And what happened?
A gay white American. He's over there with all them other ones.
I don't know about it.
Up in that prison.
Well, how do you know about it? How do you know about it?
It was all over the news this weekend.
I didn't see that. But if it's true,
you need to see it. He's
well,
a
if it
white
okay,
American
if it
who
well,
said something to ISIS, and they
ISIS. He said something to ISIS. He's talking to ISIS. Well, then he should be in prison.
ICE. Okay, you fool. I said mean ICE.
You said ISIS.
They took him over there.
What did he say to ICE?
They took it. What about the fact
what
that the white man
so wait a minute.
is over in that country and can never come back?
Aren't you happy? Don't you want all the white people in prison? Aren't you happy about that, Jay?
No, just you. Maybe you and Trump and Elon.
Oh, okay. Just us. All right. Take care, Jay. Oh, my goodness. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. FX Trading, call me on the air. I'll take your call. You're welcome to call. We'll be back in less than a minute. Yeah, FX, you're welcome to call. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the first gold and precious metals report of the week. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off this week?
Metals starting off rather quietly. Friday, we saw gold close down $20.80 after trading in a range of $2,097 up to $3,047. And then coming back and closing above that $3,000 support at $3,023.40, down $20.80 on the week. Silver closed down 54 cents on Friday at $33 the ounce, while platinum was down $6 at $9.78, and palladium gained $10 at $9.44. Overnight, we've seen gold trading in a range of $3,014 on the low to $3,034 so far. Right now, we're at $3,025 the ounce. That's up $1.60. Silver up 10 cents at $33.10 the ounce. Platinum down $5 at $9.73. And palladium unchanged at $9.44. So gold holding above 3,000 so far nicely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Let me ask you, how on a couple of things in particular, how's the pricing looking on the pre-33 gold right now? Is that still a buy opportunity?
Yes, indeed. Pre-33 gold is still the cheapest or lowest premiums we've seen in history.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And those of you that know pre-33 gold, you know what that means. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, it's a good time to load up on it. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call. His number is toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Or stop in. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. on the first floor of the Bank of America building immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find William Youngerman's address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, all of you on hold, stand by. Before we go back to the phones, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Oh, man, I've been going through my clothes to see what fits and what doesn't for the cruise, and I was expecting to have to go out and buy some new clothes because I've lost so much weight. Well, I found in the back of my closet old clothes from years ago. You know, I weigh now what I weighed when my daughter was born, and my daughter just turned 26 years old last week, and I'm at the weight I was when she was born 26 years ago. I'm wearing right now a pair of jeans that I have not worn in years, and they fit perfectly. They've been too tight, and I've got a lot of clothes that I haven't worn in years, so I already have a new wardrobe of old clothes that I haven't been able to wear in a long time, and I've lost all this weight. Now, I just wanted to lose 25 pounds, and I lost more than that. No matter what you want to lose, maybe it's less. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds. Maybe you want to lose 40, 50, 100, 150 pounds. No matter how much you want to lose, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help. I'm going to give you their number. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. All right? Okay, back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
Oh, great show. I'll tell you what, man, you're one of the best at what you do. I love it.
I'm one of the best. Who's better than me? Since you said one of the best.
That's the thing. I don't know. That's what I say one of the
Okay.
best. Could be someone out there, you never know.
You never
It's
know.
like the thing with the greatest player. I would say one of the greatest, in sports. It's hard to say who's
Listen,
the greatest, but
listen, I'm a weird guy. I can take the greatest compliment and find an insult out of it. Okay, so don't worry, don't take. I'm just giving you a hard time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But yeah, no, that whole gated community thing. I mean, come on, it's obvious. You want to be left alone. And like Steve always says, don't skin in the game. Yeah, until it comes home to you. And you're personally
What do you think? Let me tell you, Never Trumper Steve, if Trinde de Aquafina came into his community, he'd be like that couple in remember in St. Louis that came out. Remember the guy came out with the AK, and the wife had the pistol when Black Lives Matter busted down their gate. That'd be Never Trumper Steve probably doesn't own any weapons. He'd probably have to hope one of the neighbors took up for him. But what a jerk, what a hypocrite.
Absolutely. And the same thing with the other guy. He only cared about him as long as he's gay. See, white, yeah, I hate Whitey, but he's gay, so that's okay. Come on.
Exactly.
This is America.
Yeah.
This is America. Come on, let's stick together here as one country.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I was driving down Federal and, to the beach and had a little family with me. And, I was so moved to instigate these idiots, because come on, they have signs, Elon and Trump, get rid of them. Really, you want to get rid of the same two guys, the geniuses and leaders that just rescued the astronauts? This is who you're fighting against?
I tell you, so you drove by the Elon Musk protest I was at.
Right, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what are these idiots here, especially that? Come
There
on.
were a lot of them. That protest went on about 2-3 blocks long of people, and I was talking earlier that this one guy that confronts me that you see in the video, you're a big guy. He's much bigger than you. And you're a big guy. And this was like one of the biggest men I've ever seen in person. And the guy that's saying, get the F out of here, you effing this and effing that. And my face, I was like, oh my goodness. It was hairy.
They really have no reason to be angry. Even if they're touching some of their money or whatever it is that they're missing and they still want. But it's just to say for Democrats, because, your Never Trumper had mentioned, he said something about democracy. Democrats do not represent democracy. They're trying to take everything away from us. Freedom of speech, choices. They look at Elon Musk. They want to boycott him, just like My Pillow. I mean, come on.
What
If
do
you're
you
not
think?
on
Never,
board with them,
if some of these illegals made their way into Never Trumper Steve gated community with a guard. You know, there's a lot of gated communities that don't have guards. They just have the gate. You get scanned in. He actually has guards. If these illegals were inside of his elite guarded gated community, what do you think he'd do? He'd call the police to get him out of there.
absolutely. See, we're talking more convenience here. So all these people on both sides of the street protesting President Trump and Elon Musk, the great things they're doing, including, I mean, rescuing the astronauts is just one. Come on, people. Wake up. Really,
Yeah.
talk about woke. Just wake up.
Yep. All right. Well,
You're on both sides of the streets with that nonsense. Well, no. Have a great day. Great show. Keep up the good work. Can't believe you had the energy to even be out there, but I'm glad you did.
I know. It was crazy. It
Oh,
was
my
crazy.
gosh.
All right. Take care. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, good morning. This is Joan from Tampa Bay. How you doing?
1 second, Joan. Hold on. My phones are ringing off the hook. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're on the air.
All right. It's Joan from Tampa Bay. How you doing?
All right.
I have this very liberal friend in New Jersey,
Oh.
right? And I've known him for over 40 years. And then we talked this weekend, and I saw your, when you went to that thing at the Tesla dealer.
Uh-huh.
And these people are holding signs, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, blah, blah, blah. Well, I called him the next day, and he said, well, Trump wants to stop all that.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
I said, well, no, only for people that are illegal. And all of a sudden, he said, oh,
Yeah.
only illegal people? I said, are you born in the United States? I said, yeah. He said, yes. I said, so am I. So we have nothing to worry about.
And that comes as news to him.
Yeah, it was like the light bulb went off. He's like, oh, I didn't know that.
Well, he knows now, but he's still a liberal. He had a brief moment. He came out of the liberal coma for a brief moment, but he went right back into it after you hung up, I bet.
I bet, yeah, because he's thrown other things at me, and I debunked him. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm working on it.
All right,
What
Joan.
can
It's good to hear from you from Tampa. Take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
You know, this, Bondi Cash Fund, Gino, Three Musketeer operation going on. The thing that people really need to understand that lawfare, lawfare doesn't take a lot of time or a process, but a legal investigation, step by step, evidence, probable cause, leads to suspects, etc. These guys are going to do everything by the book, I's dotted, T's crossed, and then the cell doors will close. But they can't do it the half, donkey way that the Biden administration did it.
That's
so
right.
I think people just need to chill on that. I'm going to tell you another thing about this, your coastal weight loss secret, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I went back about 9 months in your archives and just looked at some pictures, looked at your face, and then about 6 months and 3 months and now, and there is a market. You can see the difference.
I know. I can feel it too. I appreciate it. You know what I noticed on Friday, if you guys watch me online, I noticed in my neck is looking good now. I lost a lot of weight in my neck, which it's amazing. I appreciate that.
It's not a secret anymore, bro.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when I went over there at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, they said, how much you want to lose? I said, 25 pounds. When do you want to lose it by? I said, well, our cruise leaves on March 29th. They said, no problem. I was like, I don't know about that. But I lost it a month early, and it came off of my face, my neck, my stomach, and my waist, all the places you want to lose it.
You can see it very easily in your face. Obviously, I haven't seen any of your, your ab shots on the internet, thank God, Brian. But your face you look fantastic, bro.
Yeah, well, a lot of my, some of you guys on the cruise, some of my clothes are going to look like my dad's clothes, okay? Because I'm not, because I'm still going to lose, so I'm not going out and buying anything new. So some of my clothes are a little baggy, but that's okay. All right,
you went to the way back. You went to the way back closet.
That's right. I did. I just thought about that yesterday. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. I appreciate the comments. Oh man. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Great calls today. And if you've not done it, go to my YouTube channel and watch my video at the Democrat Elon Musk protest in front of the Tesla dealership in Fort Lauderdale. And you know, this is not a joke. When I came home, I did take a shower. I washed all that stuff. They were all up in my grill, man, as you'll see in the video. Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And nasty, vile Democrats all over me, saying terrible things the whole time I'm there. And but I'm glad I did it. I wanted to see what was going on, and I did it for you guys, okay? That's some of my journalism work. Well, it is Monday. Monday has come and gone. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I'm Brian Craig. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, and we are out. Listen, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, please like the video and share the video on your socials if you don't mind. That helps a lot. I'll have a new podcast later today, so keep an eye out for that. All right? I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.